Hello and welcome to the CyberRisk TV livestream from Oktane 2024 at Caesars Forum in Las Vegas. I'm your host, Mandy Logan, and today I'm joined by Shaun Nichols, who is a reporter for SC Media. Today we're going to talk about what you should have on your radar for day 2 of Oktane. Shaun, welcome.
Thank you, Mandy.
I know we've now been here a couple of days. We've gotten to see quite a few interesting things and hear some buzz. But I'm curious, is there anything specific to day 2 that you have heard buzz about or that you are really drawn to?
Well, one thing I think is was discussed, kind of brought up yesterday, but I think hopefully we'll be able to go into a little more detail on is this assertion from Okta that multi-factor authentication isn't enough anymore. And it isn't necessarily something that even if you have it, if you're not implementing it correctly, it's not always going to be as effective as you'd like. It's going to leave holes and vulnerabilities. And so, as I go into the coverage today and look at, some of the stuff planned for today, I think that's something that I would really be interested to know more about and kind of dig into a little deeper.
I agree, and that goes along with something that I zeroed in on for the training side is the developer track for training. I appreciate that they have focused parts on passkeys and being able to move the entire workforce infrastructure to passwordless or passkeys while also enhancing security. So those were going on multiple times in the last couple of days, but today there are one specific to hands-on labs for developers on passkeys using Terraform and on extending the Auth0 usage with what's called actions.
No, and I think that's really so important for companies because this is something that you need to address on the developer side. If you put that burden on your administrators, on the CISOs, on the IT staff, it's going to be an issue because not everybody's going to be perfect with that. And if the developers can figure it out on their end, it'll definitely solve a lot of problems.
I fully agree, especially with like some of the interviews I got to do yesterday, really focusing on realizing the shift the last few years that developers are tasked with so many more security functions than they had been historically. So I am all for the people in the trenches, the people doing the stuff, getting additional support. I also, for leadership, I find there's a session going on at 10 o'clock from Bhavna Singh, who is Okta's CTO, and it is about leadership and security in the AI era. That's something else, obviously, we have to start really digging into and making sure that each company, each individual, each developer's infrastructure and mentality goes toward how do we adopt the AI agents and make sure identity security is foremost whenever there are billions of interactions going on in the digital sphere.
No, and I think that's going to be something that's very important. It's because as we're seeing AI start to be integrated into consumer-facing apps and end-user apps, there's still a lot of this anxiety and fear in the public about AI and what it's going to mean and what it's going to do. So I think if it's done in an insecure manner, or if it's done in a way that isn't convenient for users, it's just going to deepen that trust gap.
Well, absolutely. There is no way that our generally intelligent and tech-savvy end users, as they are progressing in their knowledge of technology, that they want to go through something where they're having to re-auth constantly or having to log back in. No, we don't want that. We don't want the friction at the end user or for the SOC teams, for the people trying to secure all of the data and all of the organizations, that because AI is available, their entire worlds get worse. That's not what Okta is about. That is not what we as security professionals are interested in. And I appreciate how much information is provided through the sessions today that show real world examples from partners and from sponsors and from organizations. Even like, I think there's this afternoon, I found this fascinating. There is at 1:45, session called Securing the Goal, How Major League Soccer Tackles Identity Management with Okta.
Yeah, and that was interesting for me to just hear from some of these partners, hearing from Major League Soccer was one they were kind of highlighted yesterday. I'd be very interested to hear their panel and what they have to say because they are somebody that Okta really, really enjoys working with.
They are, and you think about the World Cup, that major sporting events around the world are almost on par with nation-state attacks at times because of the global influence, because of the impact it can have even in a political sphere, and the amount of money that is available. So securing identity and keeping those who are hoping to just enjoy the game without additional stress.
Right.
We want to keep it that way.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Was there anything else that you really had zeroed in on today that you want to learn?
It's mostly the partners, just hearing how they're integrating with Okta.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of sessions from a lot of the partner organizations, kind of hearing what they're doing. And one thing that I've actually heard from a partner is that they're looking forward to a lot of the things that are being rolled out as far as governance, device management, these sort of things, because that is an opportunity for them. So as Okta expands its features, there's going to be more opportunities for partners to step in and kind of help out and integrate with their own products, and then also just with kind of the end user IT admin kind of level as well.
I know I'm excited about an interview that we will be doing later with Zscaler, specific to how they're partnering with Okta and why that is the best of breed for security teams that, and so many use both Zscaler and Okta. So what a beautiful bringing together of the product integrations and actually having resources where the two organizations aren't fighting. We don't want the tech companies to be fighting each other. We want seamless integrations.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I just came out of an interview where somebody mentioned, said, Okta was here for us when we were a small growing company, which is why we're really looking forward, which is why we really believe them when they say these new features, these expanded features will be an opportunity for you. They're not just saying that, there's actually some history behind that.
I agree. I also appreciate the focus on, of course, the new tools that are released, learning more about IPSI, learning more about the training side and the resources that even the philanthropic side of Okta, Okta for Good, are bringing forth in order to increase security within Okta, creating a huge example, then for customers, for partners, for solutions, and then ultimately for even nonprofit organizations and the global citizen at large. Those are perhaps lofty goals, but I think for all of us, when we think about what we are able to do reasonably while using Okta and going forward, it really does have an impact on the global scale.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know there have been some sessions on protecting vulnerable groups and communities.
True.
And I know that they're going to talk a little, I'm sure that's going to be another topic. And going forward, just as you said, the philanthropic angle, also working with nonprofits, working with some of these groups, is going to be massively important.
It very much is. And so I know we are out of time. I hope for all of our audience, you get the excitement and really deep information that is going on in the hallways. Like as I hear people coming in and out of sessions, there's been a lot of very solid information and examples and real world experiences that are allowing security teams to posture themselves more specifically for identity management at the current time. There is a keynote today with Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
So that is incredibly interesting. And I also really liked that there was parts about bug bounty. So I'm going to throw that out there for all of our researchers, all of our analysts. Like, there is the bug bounty program at Okta, and there is a talk at 1:45 that is specific to bug bounty. So thank you, Shaun, for joining us today. This was actually very fun. Again,
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
is.
Always.
And thank you to our audience for tuning in for this live daily intro from Oktane 2024. To find all of the CyberRisk TV coverage of this year's event, visit securityweekly.com/Oktane.